New tonight at 6 o'clock, an alert that could put thousands of people's identities at risk. A tax preparer abandoned her northern Kent County home and business, leaving behind boxes and boxes of tax records. After people started digging through the home, the feds raided it last week, seizing thousands of pages of records. But today, Target 8 investigator Ken Kolker discovered that the feds didn't get it all. Ken joins us live in studio. Ken?
Yes, Sue, what we found is that while the Treasury agents cleaned out the inside of the home, which doubled as this woman's office, they did not check the burn barrels out back. We found one barrel filled with unburned tax documents, complete with names, addresses, and social security numbers. Name, a guy named Daniel, where he worked, his social security number, and how much he got paid that week and how much he had gotten year to date. This started about 3 weeks ago when tax preparer Carol Fitzgerald lost her home to foreclosure and moved out. She left behind records from several decades as a tax preparer, W-2s, 1040s, everything a criminal would need to steal an identity. When you go into the filing cabinet, what do you see?
People's names, addresses, phone numbers, social security numbers, everything. Everybody's several hundred, if not thousand, people's personal information, all just open to whoever walks through the, unsecured home.
It was Township Supervisor Bob Ellick, who also happened to be one of her former customers, who discovered this after a complaint that the home was left wide open.
Came down to see, found some doors and windows hanging open, did a little looking around and discovered a few old tax returns.
He called another tax preparer, a woman who used to work for Fitzgerald, who is now handling many of Fitzgerald's former customers. And some of those customers wanted their old records back.
The records were open to the public. I had people saying they went over there and was helping themselves to papers. To
their own papers?
To their own papers.
But she says who knows what else they saw along the way.
I don't know whose records were all there.
And that led us to Fitzgerald, now living in a home in Stanton.
So how did you find me?
Did you know that the Internal Revenue Service, Treasury, raided your home and seized all that stuff?
No.
Records show the feds seized 13 file drawers and 8 cardboard boxes of records from the garage and more from her basement. She says she thought those records were destroyed, burned by her son.
Did you burn them all?
I burned a lot of them.
You burned a lot of them, but obviously not all of them?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No.
But not all of them, obviously. Okay.
Did you say I didn't? I guess I didn't.
And that led us back to the burn barrels, and a barrel full of unburned records that the feds had missed. We probably should call the feds to let them know we found this stuff. And we did call the U.S. Attorney's Office when we found those documents late this afternoon. They assured us that investigators would be picking up those documents. Now we have a crew out there right now to make sure that happens. We also aren't saying exactly where this is to help protect those documents. As for Fitzgerald, the federal search warrant says she potentially violated Treasury laws meant to protect taxpayer identities. However, she has not been charged. I'm Target 8 investigator Ken Kolker.
To the devastation in the Philippines now.
The official death toll is now above 2,300, but there are fears that people who survived the typhoon may soon die of starvation. Aid is arriving in the Philippines, but officials are having a hard time getting it to those in need. The mayor of Tacloban, the hardest hit city, is urging residents to leave town in hopes that they'll find food and water in other areas.
A West Michigan man survived the typhoon and is back home tonight, and he's talking to us.
At 5, he described the storm's fury and how he was able to help save about 40 people, including 15 kids.
And we were just taking the children's clothes off, wiping them all down, trying to make sure everyone was dry, putting clothes back on them, whatever we had left that was dry.
Heather Walker's here now with what happened to him after the storm.
Yeah, Brian, the devastation, the real devastation was seen after the storm. We've all seen the pictures, but to live through it is much different.
Dragging boxes or anything they were able to salvage. I think the hardest part was definitely seeing so many bodies just strewn across the island. It was just incredible seeing. At one point I saw a woman laying there with a child on her belly, and They were both gone.
After the typhoon, Carter Brown and a roommate filled backpacks and took off on foot, first looking for coworkers, then to find a way home.
I mean, we were trekking over trees and power lines and bodies, and at some points we were wading through water that was nearly waist deep. We couldn't believe it. I mean, we had said, like, guys, this is our life right now. Like, what is going on? Like, this is crazy.
They made it to their foundation's office and spent 3 days looking for coworkers and helping any way they could. What were those 3 days like?
They were tough. They were really tough.
Carter was then able to get a flight on a cargo plane to Manila. He was one step closer to home, but still surrounded by the storm's devastation.
It was really hard where I was standing. I was holding on the side of the wall, and underneath me on the bench seat was a woman that was on a stretcher that had an IV actively running. And to the left of me were 2 caskets.
Once in Manila, Carter got a flight to the U.S.
I felt very guilty leaving, but I knew that if I wanted to help raise awareness and get the word out for them, that I had to save myself as well.
Such an amazing story. Carter says his new mission is to raise money to help those affected by the typhoon. We have information, if you'd like to help, at woodtv.com.
They'll certainly need a lot of help for a long time to come.
Yeah.
He seems like when he's reacting that he's just numb to it, you know, like he just can't believe so much of what he saw. Yeah.
As he said, he's still numb. He doesn't really know what he's feeling.
All right, Heather, thank you. The man responsible for getting U.S. help to the Philippines is from Grand Rapids. Jeremy Konendijk graduated from Calvin College and heads the U.S. Foreign Disaster Assistance Department. He's only been on that job for a few months, but he says the relief effort in the Philippines is a massive undertaking and that time equates to lives.
Getting our distribution pipeline set up so that we, working with the Philippines government and the international community, can start meeting those initial life-saving needs. And I think that's going to be really the principal focus probably for the next several weeks.
Konendijk emphasizes that the best way to help is to send cash. Several West Michigan organizations are taking donations, and we have information for you at woodtv.com.
Because